Gina's in the house. Darnella's in the house. Camo's in the house. But to get this show started, the debate is about to start. While we wait for the two debaters to come up to the stage, I'm going to play this one too. Here we go.
Sha'Carri Richardson sets the record at the World Championship. You know, the one you tried to kick out of, and you did. You kept her from the Olympics. Her mom had died, and she smoked a little weed. So what? It's not going to make her run faster. She could have given up. She could have said, woe is me. She could have said, how dare you? And taken a private plane to Georgia. She didn't. And now, look. Love it. Love it. Sha'Carri Richardson ran the race of her life on August 21st on the way to cementing her status as the new star of women's American sprinting. Richardson set a world championship record as she won the women's 100 meters final in 10.65 seconds. She did it in
All right, Heathen Queen in the house.
Budapest, Hungary. Okay, let's just pause there. She is zeroing in on 10:49. 10:49. Flojo. She had the nails too, and the winning personality. 10:49. Look how close Sha'Carri Richardson is to that. Sprinter came from behind to surge past Jamaican runners Sharika Jackson and Shelly Ann Fraser Price to become the first American woman to win 100 gold in the World Championship since the late Tori Bowie in 2017. After her win, outlets swarmed to speak with Richardson for an interview. We want Sha'Carri, please, over here. But a video shows her speaking with a Black journalist before walking past a group of other media outlets saying, no, thank you. Why would she do that? Well, first watch.
Remember to like and subscribe, everybody.
She was
polite. Subscribe.
She's young. She's on top of the world. She did the work. Listen, I ran track in college. I'm a former sprinter with 1/10 of her speed. You don't get there by accident. You don't catch a flyer. She had to have done the work and passed the drug test. She did it. Some 24 hours earlier, the gold medalist had an impressive showing in the qualifying rounds to get into the semifinals. After that dominant race, NBC reporter Lewis Johnson told Richardson, you know, the world has been waiting to see what you'll do on this stage. What are your expectations of yourself? Atlanta Black Star coloring it in the details for us. Richardson responded, I'm not worried about the world anymore. I've seen the world be my friend. I've seen the world turn on me. At the end of the day, I've always been with me.
All right. Gonna stop it right there. The two debaters are on the stage. I'm going to bring down Kari, and I'm gonna bring up the moderator for now because she needs to break it down to everybody with how it's going down up in here today.
Okay, let's get ready to rumble. The great debate. We have Darnell, AKA the red pill guy, debating, formerly known as Kitten and Caskets, AKA Camo. Today's debate is to discuss whether or not Black men ever had a voice. By using music as one example, how did it contribute to the rebranding, reshaping the Black male and woman's image? And also, why and how does music influences us today? Okay, rules of the debate, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank everyone in the chat, all the mammies in the clouds, and of course the trolls. Rules of the debate. You're going to have a 3-minute opening argument. We're going to have 5 questions. Then you're going to get 3 minutes. No, I say 2 minutes for each question. You're also going to have a 3-minute closing remarks. We also want to have the chat involved. So after the closing remarks, we want you guys to ask a question as well. All agreeing?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
So, let's see who goes first. What number am I thinking from 1 to 10?
5.
3.
3. Camo goes first. We need your opening argument.
I don't need 3 minutes. I'm mainly here based off of a lot of the concerns or opposition that I hear from, red pill and blaming and shaming of women, and specifically Black women. I don't really like to. It's very hard for me to put Black men, I guess that consider themselves red pill, or in the same category as the entire red pill, because I don't really understand how they are, what they actually have in common when it's two different worlds that they're speaking from. So I'm basically here to challenge Darnell's constant blaming of women and specific Black women in the community for everything that's wrong with the community. That's all I got.
Darnell, opening statement.
Well, to be honest with you, ma'am, so the only thing that I'm saying, yes, I mean, it's true that I do follow the red pill ideology. I mean, I'm not one of the extremists. I mean, there's a difference. It's like being, say, let's say you vote Republican, for example. You're slightly conservative, right? But you may not be an extremist. Like, not everybody is a Trump supporter, or if you vote Democrat, that you're not doesn't necessarily make you a progressive or an extreme liberal. It's just, hey, you believe in these ideologies, but I'm more of a, what you call a centrist. Okay. So, and for those of you that don't know what a centrist is a person that likes to work the aisle, kind of like a Bill Clinton style Democrat. Okay. You got people, a Southern Democrat or a Northeastern Republican, where the extremism doesn't play very well where they are, right? So that's kind of who I am. As far as the, me blaming Black women or Black women, that's not the case. In fact, Red Pill actually taught me how to. The Red Pill actually taught me that everything, believe it or not, is actually my fault. There was a time, yes, I did, but the Red Pill kind of helped me out. And I understand that, I know that sounds kind of weird because you got a lot of these Red Pill content creators that are, going overboard, with it. But in my opinion, it's kind of like how hip hop started, started out pure and then it kind of turned into the junk we got now. And that's my opening statement.
Time. First question goes to Camo, also to Darnell. Please listen very well. Looking back on the music from 1950 to now, what is the voice motivating factors of said music? Camo?
I believe the voice motivating factors of music, especially in the Black community, was first, it was a way of self-expression at a time for Black folks to be able to express their concerns of the condition of Black people in America at the time when they really didn't have a voice or could be deleted or harmed for speaking on the issues that was taking place that harm Black people in America. Even till now, I still believe that a part of it is still there. That music is a form of expression. I believe that some of the greed that has taken place in the music industry has caused that to turn into something that is now negative and harmful to not only the Black community, but the entire, population of the United States. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that.
Darnell, looking back on the music of the 1950s to now, what is and was the voice motivating factors of said music?
I kind of hear an echo, but you said from the 1950s to now, correct?
1950s to now.
Okay.
What is and was the voice motivating factors of said music?
Okay, so this is just my opinion, but I think that the motivation has changed over the years. Okay, so, starting out in the 1950s, for example, Black people, we, believe it or not, we were very influential in rock and roll. Rock and roll, that was actually our music. It was white people that were taking our music. Elvis Presley, for example. Hound Dog. Hound Dog was actually written by a Black woman, Big Mama Thornton. The voice was just speaking about her experience, more likely about an experience. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, keep snooping at my door. And over the course of the years, it just kind of evolved. I think DJ Torch would probably, he could chime in because he's older than I am. So he could probably chime in on how when the synthesizer came out, music started getting worse and worse and worse progressively. When you had hip hop in the beginning, it talked about the black people's struggle. The very first song, Sugar Hill Gang. I can't remember the song, but you had the Sugar Hill Gang, and it was talking about struggle of a Black man, trying to feed his family, his son. My son wants to quit school and be a street sweeper, and then it just kind of evolved into today's track, where today it's just about making money. It's about exploitation. We don't give a damn about Black men. We don't give a damn about Black women. Just buy my music. That's all I care about. Just buy my music. I'm gonna keep selling you this damn dream.
Time. Buy my music. Remember, ladies and gentlemen that are on the stage debating, you must stay in the context of the question as it relates to the Black community. Next question for Camo. What messages, in your opinion, are conveyed in music today versus the music of the past?
To be honest with you, I believe that some of the same messages that was in music and from the past is still in music of today. There was music in the past that was violent, that was sexist, misogynist, misandrist. There's not much different. It's just a difference in, wording, but there's the same message in music as it was then as it is now. It's just, I guess now it's presented a little bit more harshly and opening your face, whereas before it was saying in a nice melody, so you didn't really pay attention to the lyrics. But I don't really see much difference from the music in the past of the past than it is today.
Darnell, what messages in your opinion, are conveyed in today's music versus the past?
Well, the messages conveyed in today's music is about violence, drugs, getting money, spending the money as soon as you make it. My opinion, I'm even going to throw in elements of misogyny in there. And it's not to say that misogyny didn't exist, before today's rap music, but, like in the past, in my opinion, it conveyed a more positive message, like disco, for example. Disco was the very first music that actually united white people and Black people. People were united by music, by disco. It was positive. I mean, you had Chic. I want your love. I need your love. I mean, it was just about having a good time. You had Earth, Wind, and Fire, Boogie Wonderland. It was all about having a good time. And today it's turned into violence. And I shot somebody last week. And, uh, you know, make this money, spend this money. I'm gonna start tricking on women, and all women are. I don't want to curse, but B's and 304s. So the music has changed. Like in my opinion, the music back in the day, it conveyed a real message, and today, I think the message has just become diluted. I think it's more or less just a way to make money.
Well, by hearing you guys' response to this second question, I have a related question. Camo, who would you say is the forefather voice in those said messages that you described?
You mean as far as when it comes to like hip hop or whatever the case may be, or you mean as far as when music became trashy and ratchet, and what do you mean?
I mean the message. You said the messages hasn't changed. So who
I mean,
is the
I
creator
believe
of
that
said messages?
when it comes to music in this country, we know that Black people, are the forefathers of pretty much every genre of music, including rock and roll, country, jazz, blues, and all of that. So, of course, it would be Black people, and specific, of course, Black men.
Darnell, I will ask you the same question. Who is the forefather of said voice through your description of conveying the messages? Who would you say?
Of conveying the messaging. I mean, are you looking for someone specific or just a general demographic?
As it relates to Black people. Remember the context of the debate. We are discussing whether or not Black men's voice is being heard, and we're going to use music as an example. So I ask you again, who would you say is the forefather, the creator of said messages in music as you described it?
I mean, in general, I would have to say both Black men and Black women. You got to remember, you go back to the 20s, you had Billie Holiday. That was a woman. You had Billie Holiday years ago. She was I guess you could call her a four-mother. And I'm pretty sure that there were other. She was the most famous one, but there was, but there were others. Again, I brought up Big Mama Thornton in the 40s. That, again, she was a Black woman. So of course, Black men, of course, but at the same time, you also have Black women. So I'd say it's 50-50.
So another additional question for Mr. Darnell, aka the Red Pill guy. At what percentage would you say who their voice out of the women you described are the men? Who had the greater percentage in messaging through music?
From what time period? Can you give me a time period?
Using your examples, you brought up the 20s. Remember, the context, the time frame was 1950, so you went to 1920. My next question for you is, what percentage do you, in your opinion, had the greater voice out of those people you used to describe?
Okay. Well, depending on the time period, but let's say from 20s to the 50s, I would say Black men. Now, from the 50s going forward, like I said, more and more Black women had more and more voices. The Supremes, who's on that song? It's gonna take a miracle to Make me love someone new. Who sung that song? Anybody know? Because I'm waiting for you. The Royalettes, I think it's called. I think we're called the Royalettes. Um, you had Donna Summer in the '70s. During the disco era. You know, the only time was when disco died. That's when I would say black women's voices began to die out. Was when disco died, because that was pretty much the end of black music. Everything was pop now. So I think Whitney Houston was like the only black woman really, in music. Of course, you had Janet Jackson, of course, but those two were really the only black women you had. So it just, as an answer to your question, it just depends on what time period you're referring to. But black women did have their time, same as black men, in black music.
Can I say something, please?
Time.
So
Go
I
ahead.
think
Make
I
it quick.
think I think that Darnell is not really understanding the question fully. And what you're not understanding, Darnell, is that women had to break through into these different forms of music and entertainment. So the foundation of this was men. Whether you want to say black man or white man or whatever the case may be, it was women had to break through in these genres of music, because there was a time that men did not want to hear women singing these songs. It was considered masculine. So I really don't, what I don't understand about the red pill is you want to take all of the recognition for building things and all these other things, and man did everything, but when it comes time to take responsibility for certain things that has nothing to do with what you feel like is positive, then you all of a sudden have a memory lapse or lost that women women can only be involved in anything, but what we're talking about music, if it was okay by men.
Well, I mean,
Time. Darnell, would you like to counter what she just said, or can we move on?
yes, I'll go ahead and counter real quickly. Basically, again, as I asked earlier, it just really depends on the time period that you're referring to. Yes, in the very beginning, yes, I mean, it was male dominated. Women had to, as you said, women had to climb, but eventually, they made it there.
So you would
And
so by what you're saying right now, you're going to say, are you saying that men are the foundation? Am I correct, right or wrong?
ooh, tough to say. I'm gonna say yes. I'm guessing, but I'm gonna say yes.
Darnell, do you concede this question? Do you concede this question? Yes or no?
Yes.
Moving on. Next question. What role in Camo? What role did music play in a community from the 70s till now? How did the community change, being that black men, had the highest percentage messaging in music?
I want to first say that this is just my opinion. I don't blame the music for the issues that happens in the black community, and specific with black men. I feel like that's an excuse, and it gives them a way out to say, oh well, it was the music made us do it, like it was some type of like they were hypnotized by music or whatever the case may be, because it's the man who writes the music. The music was the experience, and the music was what was actually happening. So the music has for me, my answer to this question is going to be, I'm going to say none, because I don't believe that music played a part in the degenerate behavior of in the decline of the black community.
Darnell, what would you say to that question? What role did music play in the community as it pertained to the messages in the voice of said black man or black woman?
I believe music is very influential in the black community to black men and black women. You know, and I think you see the effects of it today. You know, you see more and more. You know, I hate to use the term, but you see misogynistic men running around. You know, um, degrading women, calling them names and this and that. Uh, then you also got at the same time, now you got more and more black female rappers now. My opinion, they're encouraging. I hate to use the term, but 304 style behavior in women today to get that bag sis culture today. You know, so I think it's very influential. Hell, even spending your money. I remember being a kid buying, well, not a kid, but young adult. When I was in my late teens, early 20s, buying fake jewelry, buying a car I couldn't afford, trying to impress. This is what you got to do. A lot of people were doing it. Especially, I lived in Detroit. Especially Detroit, people. If you remember the free wheel, the spinning rim, the free wheel that just kept spinning even though the car was stopped. I mean, it cost more than the damn car, and people were buying it. They lived in a crack house, and people were buying, rims that cost more than a damn vehicle. It made no sense. So, my opinion, music is very influential in our lives. It almost tells us what to do, which is sad.
Camo, do you have a counter to Darnell's response?
I just want to. My question is, so are we saying that these characters was made up into songs like a book, like a fairy tale, and then all of a sudden people became the characters? Because I've seen from my own eyes that's not true. I was born in 1980, the year 1980. So I wasn't here, but prior to that, but I was here, for a lot of the evolution of hip hop and R&B, and I can tell you that the people was there before the music.
Well, I mean, of course, the
Darnell, would you like to respond to that to Camo?
Yes, ma'am. Of course, the people were there before the music, but what I'm saying is that unfortunately, people, like I said, people are very easily influenced. It's no different, than some of these people that say go to these certain churches. Where you have this preacher that takes all of the money. He ain't a real preacher, like similar to like Creflo Dollar, for example. He just takes, wants to buy a $55 million jet, got people forking over money. Because according to him, God said, is going to give him a $65 million plan. Well, it's the same thing in rap music. You got, people, like I said, that were told, like, I just remember the early 2000s, where people were spending money on, I'm sorry, I can hear myself. But people are spending money that they don't have. People are spending money on cars, or leasing brand new cars, or again, putting fancy rims that cost more than the vehicle. They're not, if that's not influential, then, I don't know what is. Like, I just remember nobody was doing that before. You know what I'm saying?
Next question.
I got what? Can I say one more thing before you go to the next question? Because the issue that I have with this is that black women live in this same community, and I feel like it's forgotten that we do live in the same community and we grow up in the same households, but we go on to apply ourselves regardless of the condition, regardless of the music, to educate ourselves and to be able to move ahead in life. So what I'm trying to understand is this: why is it that this music influences males worse than it influences women, when you're also saying that the music is influencing women to be 304s as well? So so can you explain that to me?
Yeah. I mean, one of the things I noticed, what's that song by Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion? What's the name of that song?
WAP.
WAP. That's it. WAP. you notice the nails, right? You notice the nails; they look like animal claws and things of that nature. I've noticed a lot more women, getting those animal claw style nails.
You do
You
know
know,
that we was weighing the nails that was way longer. Look up SWV. Look up the artists of the 80s and 90s. You do know that that has been something that has been in the black community for a long time. And nails did not stop us from going to college and getting our education.
well, I wasn't saying it's stopping you from going to college or anything, but as far as those style of nails, I had never noticed it until the wax
So let me
video
ask you a
came.
question. Like, how does those nails harm women in the black community?
It's not that the nails themselves harm. What you had said earlier was is that it doesn't that the music doesn't seem to be influencing um, black women in a certain kind of way. And I'm saying I disagree. Kind of like how us as men are spending money, you know, on frivolous crap. Uh, Women are kind of doing the same thing, and they're it's the get the bag sis style culture
So,
that I've
so if
witnessed.
you telling me that these
Okay,
nails, that these videos with these nails is influencing people, is these videos with these Sharpie colored in beards and that white marker shit that y'all putting on y'all forehead, is that influencing men too? Because I'm trying to figure out where you're going with how you're mixing this in with the influence of music and the question that I asked you, like what
okay,
harmful influence is these nails?
okay, Camo. After he answered that, we're gonna give Darnell a chance to ask you a question. Okay?
Okay.
Um, I'm sorry. So I mean, like I said, the nails is not necessarily the. I'm not saying that's the problem. All I'm saying is it's very influential. I just use that as an example. Like I said, women are buying. They want uh, their men to buy, say, Gucci purses and all sorts of things. Things of that nature. Like I said, it's just, in my opinion, I think it's doing harm to both. All
Darnell,
I'm saying
please
is doing harm to
remember
both.
to respond in the context of the questions. Okay? With music and its influence. Okay? Thank you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The music is influencing, in my opinion, women to basically become 3 or 4.
Okay, Darnell, can you want the opportunity to ask Camo a question? If not, we're gonna
Um,
go to the next question.
we'll move to the next question.
You want the next question?
Yes, please.
Okay, next question for Camo. Do you believe that music is strictly a form of expression, or is it a possibility that music is the mindset and a belief of the collective of the Black community?
I believe that music is a form of expression. I think music is an art, and I believe that people have the right to make the music that whatever music that they want to make. But I don't believe that music is an example of the collective of the Black community at all. No, I don't.
Darnell, what about you?
In my opinion, it should be a form of expression. It really should be, and it really is. Um, but the problem is that in my opinion, I believe that the consumers, of today's music, for example, they're taking it too far. Okay, where it dictates their life, it controls their life. It kind of reminds me of an episode of Boondock, where if you're familiar with Boondock, the story of Gangstalicious, you know, where he actually gets shot, in the cartoon he gets shot on stage and he's screaming, I got shot, please help me. And everybody just, I got shot. They're just repeating everything the man just said. And then when he falls to the ground, they reenact everything he does. And I kind of view that as an issue in the Black community. That is a serious problem. It's like we don't understand it's art. It's a form of expression or art or entertainment. You know what I mean?
So, Darnell, let me ask you the next question. Would you say that music has a stronghold?
I'm sorry, that music.
How
What now?
would you say that music has a stronghold on a community? And if so, how? And what type of stronghold would that be on the Black community?
Yes, I think it has a very strong stronghold on the Black community. Very strong. And as far as how, like I said, how we're spending all of our money on junk. You know, men are buying Jordans. You know, they got a big old Jordan shoe collection. You know, I mean, people are spending $500-$600. You walk into a pawn shop, you're gonna see Jordan. I mean, they're selling used. How do you sell used Jordan? You know what I mean? Because people are taking them in, trying to pawn and get their money back because they broke. You know, they're spending all their money on junk. You know, instead of assets that go up in value, instead of buying, say, stocks, for example. You know, like we don't have any songs saying, "Hey, man, put your money in the S&P 500." I can't rap, but you know, if I could, you know, imagine a song. Put your money in the S&P 500. Put your money in the Nasdaq. You know, buy blue chip stocks. You know, we don't say none of that.
Not to cut you off, do you know what a stronghold is, Darnell?
Do I know what a what?
You know the meaning of stronghold.
A stronghold.
Yeah, because you're giving examples. So basically, you're saying that the stronghold is financially. So music has a financial stronghold on the Black community that keep us in poverty. Is that what you're saying?
That's one aspect, yes. Another one is the violence too. You can't forget about the violence. It speaks about violence, about shooting people. Like kids want to pick up guns now. You know, well, I mean that's been going on for a while, but you want to start shooting other people, or what's another thing? Selling drugs. Selling drugs apparently is another issue. Like every rapper, even Jay-Z is, not that I'm saying Jay-Z's bad, but even he talks about how he sold drugs. So, that's how I got to make it. I can sell drugs, So there is the crime aspect of it too. Let's not forget the crime.
Last question for you, Darnell, and we're going to give Camo a chance to answer that first original question. With all of the description you just named, what does Black women have to do with that messaging? With the drugs, the violence, and the other thing you described?
Well, as far as that goes, Black women have nothing to do with that, in my opinion. I just think that's male, in my opinion, that's male bravado, speaking. But, I do believe that, Black women are starting to take the toxicity, like I said, Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj. They're starting to take the negative aspects and apply it towards Black women.
Okay, Camo, do you believe that music has a stronghold on a community? And if so, how and what is those strongholds? What happened to Camo?
Looks like she dropped off for a second. She'll probably be back. Well, she will be back, but so let me put the link back in there so she can come back up.
Okay, Chad. I want you guys, Chad. I want you, after you guys are hearing the debate, I want you guys to get your brains on, because we're going to ask you guys to ask the debaters a question as well. So while we wait for Camo, get together your questions, please.
May I respond to Kim Lee Moon's comment about me?
Not yet.
Okay.
Just write it down, Darnell.
Okay.
while we wait on Camo and Kim Lee Moon. If you have a question as it pertains to the debate, please ask that while we wait on Camo.
Yeah, she's in the chat. Roasted. Okay, we're gonna wait a little bit longer. While Camo's coming back up, I'm gonna just play some music in the background.
But for the record, I do have a passport already, though. For the record.
Here she go. Okay, I'm gonna bring the music down. Hold on. Okay.
Okay, Camo, this question is also for you. If music is a stronghold in the community, do you agree that music is a stronghold on the community? And if so, what is that stronghold and how is it displayed?
Like I said it before, and I think I answered this. I don't believe that at all. Like I said, I grew up in the 80s when, NWA, when music really started getting really bad, I guess what would be considered bad now. And Luke, with Uncle Luke and him, going to the Supreme Court to fight for the rights to be able to make degenerate music. I grew up in that time and in that era. And in my home, we just wasn't allowed to listen to certain kinds of music. And it wasn't just, gangster rap and freak music or whatever the case may be. I just grew up in a home where what we listened to and what was what we were exposed to was very much so controlled by our parents. So although yes, as a teenager, as I started getting older, in the 90s, it wasn't much that my parents can do, because of course we went to school. Even in the 80s, like, we went to school and we would hear the music, we would see the movies, Juice and all this and whatever else that was going on. Although we didn't live in it, we saw it, but we were raised a certain way. So it was still to us just entertainment. It really didn't have any impact on us. And many of the children that I grew up with that are now adults. But I also seen in my own home how just certain culture of the Black community impacted my brothers. Although we were raised completely different than, I guess, the stereotypical Black male that gets in trouble and all these other things. So that's why I say I don't believe that the music is the actual issue, because you can't stop people from making the music that they want. I don't believe that.
If music is not the stronghold, what would you say is the stronghold?
I think that it's the culture. I think it's the culture of the music is just an expression of the culture that we live in. The culture needs to change, and when the culture changes, the music will change, because then most musicians sing about their life experience. So it's the culture that needs to change.
Darnell, do you have a counter to her response to that question?
Yes, so I just have a question, Camo. So isn't music a part of the culture?
Yes, it is. I just said that.
Yeah, so I mean, then you could say that music is a part of the problem.
That's not what I said. That's not what I'm not going to say that, because it's not. The problem is the person, is the people. Because when the people change, the music will change, because it will no longer be their experience.
Okay. Is it possible something we can look at the incarceration rates of African Americans, like back in the 70s compared to, say, today? Because you're going to see, especially after the crack epidemic, our incarceration numbers went way up. Way up.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
I was saying, if you can tell, or excuse me, if we could see the numbers between the 60s and 70s of Black people being incarcerated versus today, percentage wise, you'll see that the numbers have gone way up. Like I said, today, one out of three black men are in jail, or excuse me, will go to jail at some point in their time in life. And when I say jail, I mean state or federal penitentiary. And
Mm-hmm.
1 out of 10 black women will go to jail, state or federal penitentiary at least once in their life.
The incarceration issue with the black community was going on long before hip hop or the music. This is something that has been going on since we gained our independence, and I believe that I don't believe that that those two things are go together. I think that you're using that, you're trying to use one issue, which is the incarceration and the criminal justice issue in America with music, and that has long been there before. And I noticed that a lot of people in the black community do that. They'll try to make it seem like, oh, since the rap music came, the people been doing this. No, these issues have been here since after slavery.
I mean, but I don't think
Okay,
incarceration.
I have a counter question for Camo. Being that what you just said with the incarceration and basically the system, what is the driving factor of mass incarceration minus music?
What do you mean a driving factor? I mean, we know that we live in a we it's no secret that we live in a country that is not balanced when it comes to justices of black people here. We understand that. For me, the issue is what I can never understand is, knowing this, why do people continue to do the things that they do? Why do black people that are criminals continue to commit crimes, knowing that there's going to be a large chance that you are not going to get the same treatment as someone else? You know that it's already in your face. It's not a surprise. And then once it happened, it's like, oh man, it's the system, it's the man, and the man did. You knew this before. You have a long history prior to that of knowing that there are certain issues in this country when it comes to black people that is not fair, but you continue to make them the same mistakes. Like, it do so. And again, to me, like, where does the music play with that mindset? How is music involved in that?
Now that you said that, what would you say is the solicitation for such criminal behavior in black men?
What is the solicitation? Is other black men.
Darnell, do you have a counter for her response?
I think it's a certain type of black man. Like I said, when you see the artists, telling you, hey, this is how you got money. This is how you make money. You sell drugs, you're gonna make money. You see my Lambo. You see these promises of wealth. It's like the devil, trying to tempt you. You know what I mean? You see the promises of wealth. You see women around you. Every man wants to be popular with women. I don't care who you are. Well, excuse me, every heterosexual man wants to be popular with women. I don't care who you are. So they see these guys doing that. Like, for me, it was big time. That's how I fell into the trap. Big time. That song Still Fly. When the Escalades came out and was popular. That was it for me. But but as far as like in the beginning, like, yes, I mean, there was crime and black people going to jail before hip hop, but at the same time, you got to remember, like, the original vice lords in Chicago, for example. Do you know they actually made community banks, black-owned banks. They're about policing the neighborhood, keeping things clean in the beginning. Now, down the line, something happened, and they became what they are today. A bunch of hooligans trying to kill people. I mean, hell, the Black Panthers used to do breakfast, for children that couldn't afford to eat in the morning. They used to
Okay,
do.
Darnell. After you said
Um,
that,
can
what
I
is
say something
what
in reference
changed?
to what he just said, please?
Yeah, that was my
I'm gonna
counter
answer his
question. Go ahead.
question.
Go ahead.
So what, as I said, like I grew up at a time where I seen, I was privileged to be able to see some of those things and have the privilege to be protected by some of those groups of black men that patrolled our communities and those type of things. And I'm gonna tell you what happened and who fought against them. It was other black men who did that. It was gangs that fought against them. That you the men the Nation of Islam and other groups of men, the Christians and other groups of men that formed together to patrol and protect the community. It was other gangs that did that, that fought against them. The hooligans, that as you called them. That's who did that.
But I just said that.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'll let you counter that, and then we're gonna go into our closing, and then we're gonna get the chat involved. They have questions for you as well, and then DJ Torch will have some questions. You can counter that, Darnell. Go ahead.
Okay. The only thing I wanted to say. Give me 1 second here. My phone's overheating. So the only thing I wanted to say is on that is like, okay, like I said, you had, like I said, even gangs weren't back in the '60s. Black gangs weren't as bad as they are today. Today they're just about selling drugs, the corners. They don't even give a damn about the community anymore. But back in the day, they did. My opinion, drugs entered the community. I would say also, you also got to remember the FBI had a program called COINTELPRO. The FBI did not want people getting along. Like during the civil rights movement, for example, you had black people and white people, get together. The hippies, and and the black activists started getting together. The FBI, oh no, we can't have it. The FBI introduced COINTELPRO. I mean, they assassinate. I mean, hell, some of it even became assassination attempts. Let's call it a spade a spade. Disco again was a music that united black people and white people. Okay, and the white people said, we can't have it. Again, we can't have it. So what did they do? They destroyed disco.
Darnell,
Camo,
who
do you
was
like to?
yeah, I want to I got a few. These gangs that wasn't that bad, these gangs that brought drugs in the community and all these other things, who was they selling those drugs to on the corner?
Black.
But you said so, but you think that it wasn't that bad.
No, I said in the beginning it wasn't bad. It turned. At first they weren't selling drugs. They were like literally building the communities up in the beginning. It somewhere down the line is where it turned bad.
So the games that I'm assuming that specifically because I keep hearing you talk about the Vice Lord or whatever, and I think I've heard of that mostly in like Chicago.
Yes, they were.
Okay,
Chicago
so
gangs.
are you aware that long before black people came to Chicago, that there was a gang problem in Chicago? Did you know that? That long before black people migrated to Chicago? Do you know that Chicago has always been a city of gangs?
Of course, gangs. Chicago, New York. Gangs have always people. Basically, when people form gangs, in the beginning, it used to be about protection. Because there was another ethnicity that wanted to beat on them or harm them. Okay, and so you would form a gang, for protection. That's how it started. Like the drugs and the things came later. Now, yes, there was the numbers rackets and.
Yeah, no, the mafia formed the gangs in Chicago.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Not the black people. The mafia was first in Chicago with the gangs. The Italians and the Irish was there first with the gangs. And it wasn't until black people migrated from the South to Chicago that they began to get involved into this gang culture that was already there. You're not aware of that?
They had to do it for protection.
Oh, okay.
Okay, great conversation. Do you guys have additional questions for each other, or you want to go into the closing remarks?
I really don't have anything to say more because I feel like they're, I don't want to sound like a bully or anything, and I kind of feel like there's a disconnect or a miscommunication or some lack of understanding going on here. I have a lot of respect for Darnell, and I appreciate him, coming up here and giving his time to this debate. So that's all I got for him. Thanks, Darnell.
What about you, Darnell? Do you have closing remarks or a counter?
Yes, ma'am. I would say, Ms. Camo, no. I mean, this is a friendly debate. Let's don't feel like you can't ask me any questions. I'll be more than happy to answer. Where do you believe I am? I believe you said I'm missing the mark or something to that effect. Where do you believe I'm missing the mark on? I'm just curious.
I don't think that you're missing the mark, but I do think that there is a, I don't know. I can't explain it. I think that we're talking and it's almost like talking to somebody that speaks a different language, I guess you could say, meaning that like,
men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
Not that. I just think that you're already, I don't know if it's the red pill thing, but there's like a programming that a lot of you have that is very hard to get you out of that range and back into reality. And I think that you're already kind of like there, and I'm not red pill. So there's like a miscommunication, if you can understand what I'm saying.
Yes, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, but like I said, I appreciate you. Like, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, Camo, can you at least give us some closing remarks from all your responses and the questions? What have you gathered so far, and what message do you want to end with?
I think that I think a lot of men, especially like these red pill and like ministry men, need to really do some really real research on history. The Black history, the history of the Black community, and our place in this country, because I think that a lot of they become mixed up into this blame game and this victim mentality, whereas that it's almost like they made up their own version of history and things, and it's just that they're too far gone, and this is what they believe. Like, you can't tell them anything else. Like, they've literally forgot that books exist. I don't see that. I don't see a ending to this coming anytime soon. As far as like the disconnect between, I'm gonna just say Black, I guess, red pillars and black women, especially in specific Black and BWE. And so we're just going to continue to every time there's something being said that is wrong or misinformation that's coming from these groups, we're always just going to be there to correct them. And that's just going to be what it's going to be until they decide to either just leave us alone altogether and take responsibility for their own actions and do what they really set out to do, which is to build up men. Then it will be over. But until then, yeah, we'll be here to correct you.
Okay, Darnell, after all of the questions you heard and your responses, what have you gathered, and what's your message and your closing remarks?
What I've gathered is just like kind of like what Camo said. I mean, there is definitely a disconnect between Black men and Black women. I really wish some kind of way we could bridge the gap somewhat. I really do. And she does have a very valid point, by the way, that yes, some red pill or men that follow the red pill, they're going too far with that crap. I mean, they're going way too far with it. Like for example, I'm just going to name a few things as an example, but saying like single moms are recreational use only. Okay, that's not true. single moms are not recreational use only. Uh, in my opinion too, when they talk about increasing the, you got to increase your body count and this and that. Well, in my opinion, are you not contributing to the problem? You want to call women 304s, but who's turning them into 304? So I do acknowledge that, like, it's not perfect. The only reason I am, that I like the red pill, because it taught me about responsibility. That's why I like the red pill. Like, before the red pill, yes, I blamed women. I blame women all the time. And the thing is, I'm the type of guy, I have an open mind, and I listen. I don't just, I don't just take what I want to hear, and I don't just want to take what I want to hear and twist it.
Okay.
Unfortunately, a lot of people in the red pill.
Okay, we're gonna get the chat involved. Okay, chat. I hope you ready, mammies and trolls, and my BWE princesses and queens.
So are we gonna have them? I'm sorry to interrupt you, moderator. Are we gonna have them come up, or are they just gonna throw in their questions? Because
they're gonna throw in their questions in the chat.
Okay.
So please put the name of the person you want to ask a question first. Write your question. Debaters, please be paying attention to the question and answer accordingly. And then we're gonna do this for a cool little minute, and then we're gonna have DJ come in with his questions, if he have any, and to give his commentary. So go ahead, chat. Let's do it.
I'll play a little music while they get their questions together.
Come on, ladies. We even accept questions from trolls as well. We're here for it. But I have a bonus question for you guys. Marvin Gaye said in a song that music is his heart and soul, more precious than gold. I quote. Now, gold is one of the most... Okay, we got a question. Jen J for Darnell. Look, Darnell.
Yep, I saw it.
That's your question, Darnell.
Yep. So since you are a centrist, what principles of passport bros do you agree with and disagree with? Just name a few. To be honest with you, I'm anti-passport bro. I'm not against traveling. I'm not against dating women overseas. But I am anti-passport bro. I mean, I do believe, okay, you should travel, expand your horizons, things of that nature, enjoy and learn about other cultures. I mean, there's more to life than just being here, staying here in the States. Now, where I disagree is saying that, okay, you're unfortunately in the passport bro community. Let's face it. I want to say about at least 3 out of 4, probably even more, are probably banging prostitutes.
Okay, Darnell, you have a second question now.
Okay. Okay, second question. Darnell, what accountability do black men and black men artists have for the degeneracy in the black community? Kimberly Moon, accountability is just, I'll be honest with you, that's just a human characteristic, is to not accept accountability. I hate to say that, but it's true. It's true about us as people. We human beings just, and that goes for, I don't care what your race is, I don't care what your gender is, we have an issue people in general have an issue with accountability. We seek to blame others all the time. It just makes us feel better.
Okay, I'm gonna need you ladies in the chat to ask Camo a question too. Get off of Darnell.
Hold on. There's a question in the back chat. I'll answer it because it's not specifically to nobody, but I did see it.
Can you read it? Can you read it first, please?
Let me see. What was it saying? Well, I can't. Let me see. Did I see? Okay, yeah. It said, did black male artists or black female artists start the trend of degeneracy in music? And my answer to that is, as I said before, it was Uncle Luke and the Two Live Crew that petitioned the Supreme Court to be able to perform and produce vulgar, ratchet, degenerate music. And that's the truth. I mean, if you was living that time, you know, and you can also research it yourself. These men was being arrested for singing the music that they were singing and and performing, and they continue to do it just as if they were fighting for some type of rights of the black community. So I'm going to say it was black males in our community that introduced this form of the degenerate music that we see now, that they claim to hate so much, but they were the ones who fought to have it here. Luke himself, even a few weeks ago, had the nerve to speak out on Keke Palmer, which was crazy to me. And I was like, how is that possible when you are like literally the dusty forefather of degenerate ratchet music?
I have to agree with Miss Camo on that. I do believe black men did was the beginning of turning black music into what it is today. I do believe
okay. So since the chat is being a little biased, I'm a little disappointed, ladies. I need you guys to think about all what Camo said and ask her a question. So Camo, this is my question for you. You said that music, you don't view music as a participant in the degeneracy of black males. So I have a question. It's Marvin Gaye quoted in a song, music is his heart and soul. It's more precious than gold. Now, gold is one of the most important commodities on the earth. It's used in all data processing. It's used in cell phones, etc. Why would he put music above gold, above everything that's considered resources?
Well, he found comfort in music. I mean, we all have something that, like, there's certain things that is more valuable to people than money. Believe it or not. I mean, or any type of materialistic item. And I believe that he found comfort in music. It gave him an escape from, a lot of the personal demons that he dealt with, and it gave him a way to express himself in a way that he didn't feel like he could being his regular self. Because I do believe, if you kind of read the story of Marvin, he wasn't really the Marvin Gaye in the beginning that he became by his end. But when he was, this character, when he became the singer and performer Marvin Gaye, he was able to express a part of him that he didn't know how to express normally, in just dealing with people. So I do believe that that was his truth, and I believe that it proves me right that the music itself has nothing to do with the behavior of the people. When the music is it's basically the people expressing who they really are. It's not going to change anything.
You also had another chat, I believe it was by Bridget. Another question. Can you see it?
Hold on for a second. Let me see.
There we go.
I have a question.
She says music is a description of reflection of the current state of affairs, but do you think it can also influence the culture? That's her question for Camo.
Hold on, I'm trying to see if I can find it.
It's on the screen.
Okay, let me see where. Okay, girl, I can't see that. It say what? It say Camo, music is a description or reflection of the current state of affairs, but do you think it can also influence the culture? I think that so if we were to say today, I think that we have a lot more interaction with artists than we did before. We only knew them, especially like long ago when when R&B and those things started becoming very popular, and we were in the forefront. We didn't really know these people. We didn't know their life until later on, after something may have happened, or they made some type of biopsy, or whatever the case may be of who they were. But nowadays, we actually artists are actually influencers as well now. So we can look into their life every day. You can literally talk to them on Instagram and whatever other social media. And I do believe that that's what their influence is coming from. The artist is their self, and not just the music. It's almost like what I believe that it was for me, like with church, that I noticed that people went for the pastor more than they did for God or the word. It was just the influence of the pastor that the pastor had on them. That
the artists, the producers of said music.
Some of them, not all of them. Like not all of these artists is writing their own music. Some of them are just performing it.
Yeah, you got ghostwriters.
Okay, who got another question for Darnell?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the questions are backing up for me.
Just answer the one that is pertaining to you guys' debate.
Okay. I just want to make sure I don't miss anybody.
Heathen Queen got one for you. Read that one on the screen, Darnell.
Darnell, who started the degradation of the Black culture? Do you agree that the degradation of the music with its blatant sexuality is started by men and women? Yes. Actually, I believe we actually said that earlier. But yes, I do believe that Heathen Queen, you are spot on.
You understand the question, right? She's asking, it was started by men, but women followed.
Correct.
You agree? Okay.
Yeah. I agree 100%. That's kind of what I said.
Okay. You answered that, Darnell. We have one for Camo by Kimley Moon. You see it, Camo?
Hold on, let me see. Girl, I cannot. I don't have my glasses on. I am blind.
It's okay. Kimley Moon says, "Yeah. How do you think Black men artists have contributed to the degeneracy in the Black community?"
I mean, like I said, I don't. I said this before. Like, I don't really. Let me give me a second to think before I actually respond to this, so I can make myself clear. Like I said, it's the culture. The culture itself is in the music. Is being expressed through the music itself. When it comes to the music and how it's influencing the community, I just don't see. I don't see that. I see that this is what's there. This is the community that they live in. It's almost like it's bound to happen. It was already happening before the music got there. So I don't believe that it's actually happening that way.
So you're saying that you don't believe the artists?
I believe degenerate men are the issue. I don't believe it's degenerate music.
So can we say that these men that are Black, that are artists, are they considered, in your opinion, degenerate or just puppets?
I believe that they don't make it no better. If that's what you, if we'll say it that way, like it doesn't make it any better that not only is this in our communities, in some of the unfortunate, and some of the poverty communities, and or whatever the case may be, that it's unfortunate that these kids have to live around this every day. And not only that, you're gonna put it in their music as well. I do think that I think it's a problem. Yes, that is an issue, but I don't believe it's I'm not gonna blame it and just be like, oh, it's the music that these men are making. No, it's the men.
Okay, Torch. Okay, Camo. Oh, we got a question for both of you guys. Treason, she's hitting you with the double whammy. Camo and Darnell, do you think Pink Pill, BWE, or divestment would have existed without Red Pill or Manosphere flooding the internet?
I'll be completely honest with you. I came to around long after all of that stuff was already here, so I don't really know much about what was what and what came where. I do know that in real life, these people have been around for a very long time. Like, this divestment is not anything new, and neither is Red Pill. I hear people keep saying that Red Pill is about 10 years old, and that's not true. Like, it's not. It's been around for a long time. It's just, it may be about 10 years old on the internet. So I don't know enough about it as far as the history of it. When it got to social media, because I wasn't around at that time. Like, I was still in the military, and I was gone a lot. I wasn't really in the States, so I can't really answer that. But I do think that one is a reflection of the other.
What about you, Darnell? Same question.
Can you give me the definition of Pink Pill and what is the acronym?
It's basically women talking. She's asking, would all of these things exist if it wasn't for the influx of Manosphere talking on the internet?
Can you go back to the question? Can you go back to it so I can read it again?
I have to go. Hold on.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hold on for a second.
It's that Pink Pill.
Did you say you had to go, or are you still here?
No, I'm still here.
I can't find it.
Oh, okay, well, that's okay. Pink Pill. Yeah, there it is. Pink Pill, BWE, or device. So Pink Pill is women. Is basically women empowerment. Basically, is that what it is? Basically.
I
Hello.
think it's,
okay. Go ahead. What are you saying, Darnell?
Best just to say, if you don't know what Pink Pill is, it's best just to say you don't know.
Yeah. I've already said I don't know. That's why I asked for the definition.
Okay, just leave that out, and then respond to the other part, the items you do know.
Okay, what does BWE stand for? I don't know what that means.
Black Women Empowerment.
Okay, Black Women Empowerment or divestment would have existed without Red Pill or Manosphere flooding the internet. No, there's for every action, there's always an equal and opposite reaction. So it's basically like a game of tug and war, basically.
Okay, I'm gonna.
I want to answer because I'm trying to read through the chat so I can understand what Heathen Queen is saying. So okay. I don't know if you were here before Heathen Queen, because we talked about this. Your question was one of the questions, and what you're saying is the music not an outward expression of the culture, of the degeneracy? And I spoke about that, and I said yes. I said that the music. So basically you can't blame the music without blaming the person, because it's really the lifestyle that these people are expressing that needs to change. The culture itself needs to change. The degeneracy needs to stop, and once it do, it won't be in the music. So it goes hand in hand with each other. This is not something I believe that, to me, the way that it comes across to me a lot of times is people make this out to be like a fairy tale character, like these people don't really exist, and that they make music and then the music make people behave a certain way. No, these are real. This music is really the real issues of what's happening in the community. It's just being expressed through the music. But regardless of whether the music is there or not, it's still gonna be a problem.
So music is the mirror of the Black community?
I don't think music is I don't think degenerate music is the mirror of the entire black community. I think that the degenerate music that we speaking of is a mirror of the degenerate behavior. Yes, I do believe that.
Okay. What about you, Darnell?
I think it started out as a mirror. You know, I would agree in the early form of especially rap music. I would agree in the early form that it started out as a mirror of the black community. But today it's turned different. Like things have become commercialized. I know people in the music industry. I know a guy, he owns a recording studio. For those of you that don't know, but the rappers here in Phoenix are garbage. All of them are garbage. You know, but we still have a music industry. But anyway, the point is that I'd asked them a question. I was like, man, why are you guys producing all this crappy music? And they said, this is just what the people want to hear. It's self. This is what the people
So
want to hear.
your statement just now just silently agree with what Camo is saying.
I don't see how.
Because you said he responded to your original question as this is what the people want to hear. So if the people are degenerate, right?
Mhm.
What Camo is saying is the people in the culture, and rap and music is just a display of what's going on in reality.
Touche. Very good. That's a good point.
Okay, Torch, where you at?
I'm here. Okay, so Miss RV also had a question as well. I believe this one is directed towards Camo.
West Coast rappers.
It says, Camo, do you think West Coast rappers are worse, especially due to the praise of pimp culture since the end of chattel slavery?
I think that's chattel.
Chattel slavery. Thank you. She might be out of She might be out of reach right now. Darnell, go ahead and answer that question for our Miss RV.
Oh, she got on my west. She got on my west. You know, I love that G Funk, man. I love that G Funk era. But I mean, it was bad. It was bad. I have to admit. I have to be honest. It was bad. You know, yes, they did praise the pimp culture. So, Miss RV, you're not wrong. I just happen to like it. So, you're right.
Answer the question, Darnell.
No, I just feel. I acknowledge she was right.
Kinda. You said you liked it. You didn't really say whether. Okay, you acknowledge that it's probably the worst, right?
It's bad. I acknowledge it is bad. Okay, I acknowledge it. But I couldn't.
Can you explain to me why you believe it's bad? Break it down.
Why I believe it's bad? Because I mean, like I said, calling women bitchs, hoes and sluts and 304s and sluts and things. You know, it's just toxic. You know, I mean, especially when kids have access to it. You know, and like dad's not around, but they're listening to Snoop Dogg or Dr. Dre or something. You know, and
so do you believe that might have influenced some women into being your what you define as 304s?
I think afterwards, women decided to embrace it. It's like, okay, if you're gonna call me this name, fuck it, screw it. I'm gonna be that, but you're gonna pay me for it, kind of thing, So, yeah, I do believe it did influence them, but I think it's more like you ever heard the saying of ruining the joke when somebody's making fun of you? You make fun of yourself, and it's not funny anymore. I kind of get the same thing when it comes to black women. They just decided, okay, screw it, I'm gonna be a 304, or in music, I'm saying.
What? What?
I mean, I
I
mean,
think you need to clear that up, or like, is that your final response? Because like, what are you saying?
what I'm saying is women decided, instead of
No,
being
you
called
said black women. That you specifically. That's what I came in at. So go.
correct.
What were you saying?
Okay, so you
So
got
so say that. Repeat what you said again.
uh, I said a lot actually. I mean, do I have to really repeat the whole thing or?
No, the end. You said black women just decided to say screw it. I'm just going to be a 304 because of the music. What did you say?
No, they decided to own it. It's like, okay, let's say, Miss Camo, let's pretend you were making fun of me. You said, Darnell, you're a dumbass, da 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 da, whatever, right? And I just said, you know what, screw it. Miss Camo, you're right. I'm a dumbass. I'm just going to embrace it, kind of thing. It's no longer funny anymore, right? You making fun of me, you get bored. You're no longer going to make fun of me anymore,
Yeah, I
right?
understand what you're saying. So what I don't believe that. I think what black women said decided a lot of them. And if you're speaking in, you must be specifically talking about black artists as far as like hip hop. First of all, like there are plenty of black artists, hip hop artists, R&B artists that people don't even pay attention to because as much as they say that they don't like the ratchets, they pay more attention to them than they do. Um, the actual the other types of artists.
I agree.
So
I agree.
they're still there. Like there are still actual hip hop women who actually rap hip hop that has nothing to do with ratchet culture. They just don't get the attention that they deserve. That's one. And two, I believe that these women that you're speaking of just took control of their own, meaning that men exploited them for money. It made
Hmm.
money. So
Hmm.
so if men can do it, why can't I do it for myself? And I can make money my own self without being exploited by men. So I
Yeah,
think that's a difference. It's not, I
yeah,
don't think that they said, you know what, I'm just going to be a 304. Like, I mean, if you actually pay attention to a lot of these artists, they're actually, many, aren't most of them married? Megan just graduated from college. Like Cardi is married. Nicki is married. If we talking about like the top like rappers of today, these are married women. You may
yeah,
not like that they dance or whatever, which you have no problem being in Brazil watching women dance half naked and calling it culture, calling it literature. It's a problem, but in America, you'll call black women in your own community 304s. I don't understand that.
mm. No, I'm not calling them 304s. I'm just saying, um, it's one of
Darnell,
those
you
things.
did. This debate, you have to be accountable for your responses.
No,
Continue.
I'm being accountable here. Like I said, basically, like I said, I agreed with you that women or excuse me, these black female artists just decided to say, like I said, just screw it. Like, you know, like talking about this wet ass p word, for example. I'm using the WAP song. Just use the WAP song as a reference. We're gonna own it. We're gonna make money
I
off of
still
it.
don't understand how this benefits you, and especially by you being a red pill man, and red pill supposed to be benefiting men. Whereas that you guys
What do you
focus
mean
so
benefit?
much on women that you can I get a second? That you don't pay attention to what's happening to men. You cannot like walk. You cannot like dancing. You cannot like the way that they dress. But you can't deny that it's male rappers that are dying and that are killing each other. You don't see that with women. You cannot like any of those things, but what would be beneficial to you is to try to understand why you guys can't deal with conflict to the point where you're actually ending each other. But you're so focused on what these women are wearing because you only care about your own desires. This is the problem with men. Everything that has to happen has to be of your desire. Every woman walking around has to be what you want to see and what you look like, even what you want them to look like, even if you don't have anything to do with them. You're so focused on those things that you cannot focus on your own self. And that's why in this community, you remain in the same place.
Well, like I said,
Well, hold up, Darnell. In reference to WAP, there was also 3-6 Mafia. Remember Slob on my knob? Go ahead, Darnell.
Slob on my knob. Slob on my knob. God damn, I can't remember the words. It's been so long.
No, I'm not asking you to serenade us. I'm just giving you a remembrance when you said the song WAP. I'm bringing to your remembrance 3-6 Mafia with the song Slob on My Knob. Now you can go ahead and continue with your counter of what Camo just said.
Well, like I said, I don't have an actual counter. In fact, I actually agreed with her. It's like, because she even said, like, look, we're just going to take ownership of this. You're going to call us these names anyway. Well, screw it. We'll be that. We're going to take. I'm not even mad at these women for doing that.
Camo, let them finish, please.
I'm not even mad at these women for doing that. Like I said, you may as well take the butt out. Basically, you take the butt out of the joke.
Okay, Camo, what's your counter?
What I was saying is that if they wanted this music gone as bad as they say that they wanted it gone, then they would go and do the same thing that they did when they wanted to create it, and they haven't done that. So therefore, I don't see that. I don't see the energy put into it as they put into it for it to be legally created by them. I think that what they don't understand, and the reason why it's a joke, this red pill and manosphere, I always keep hearing these men say, we keep telling y'all what we like and what we don't like, but y'all won't change anything, but you created all of this yourself. So you're a joke. We see you as a joke. So what these women doing by benefiting off of what you created to basically benefit from them and their image, they've taken over it and you don't like it. That's all that I see. I don't see that you don't like butt and boobs anymore. I see that you don't like the fact that the narrative has been changed where these women have control over their own image, their own life.
Darnell, do you have a counter?
Well, she broke up towards the end, but to be honest with you, I don't have a issue, with Black women changing the narrative. I don't have any issue with that whatsoever. In fact,
but you got to keep it in context. She said that you men have an issue with Black women owning their own image, and you have no control over it. But you guys steady have comments and steady have derogatory comments towards these type of women who owns their own image, whether it be twerking, whether that image be whatever they choose. Camo is stating that you men have a problem because you are not involved. What's your counter?
Well, I mean, my counter is I can't speak for every Black man. Okay, I just can't. But I can only speak for myself. As far as myself goes, no, I don't have an issue with it one bit. Now, if I had a daughter, I have two sisters. If I saw them, twerking and this and that, well, my sisters are grown women, so they can do it legally. They can do whatever they want. Now, I mean, I would tell them, hey, maybe don't do that. But if I had a daughter, for example, no, I wouldn't want her twerking and, singing Cardi B's lyrics and this and that. But,
so what's your counter to what Camo said about the red pill messaging, since you the red pill, Darnell, aka red pill guy, about them saying what men like to that extent?
Well, even I had said it earlier that there is some hypocrisy in the red pill movement. There is some hypocrisy, and I even acknowledged that earlier. Basically, like for example, when I had said earlier, like in the red pill, for example, they say, you got to increase your body count. If you're not serious about a woman, it's one thing to do a hookup. It's one thing. As long as both parties are aware of what's going on, it's just a hookup and nobody's getting played. That's one thing. But, to sit up here, lie to women, and then turn them into...
So, Darnell, when you say hypocrisy, what's hypocritical about when the manosphere spew out what they like in a woman? because we have countless videos of men that are red pill manosphere telling women what they like and don't like. Where is the hypocrisy in these men saying those things?
Well, let's take, for example, I'll give you a big example, Donovan Sharp. You know, as much as I like Donovan Sharp, you know, as much as I like him, you know, I don't have a real issue with him, but unfortunately, I do believe he is a hypocrite.
Darnell, remember, I need you to stay in context of the question. I'm asking you, what is the hypocrisy in them saying what they don't like and what they like in women? Is it, or is it just a lie?
Well, I'm answering your question. But so like I said, Donovan Sharp says that and this is a whole red pill thing, that single moms are recreational use only. But here you got Donovan Sharp dating a single mom, living with a single mom. You know, now he lied about it. Oh yeah, that you know, that's my niece, not, you know, not my stepdaughter. You know, which was a lie. That was a hypocrisy. And in my opinion, like I said, when the manosphere does say single moms are recreational use only, like it's bullcrap. I'm just gonna be honest with you, it's bullcrap. Now, do you have to vet single moms? Yeah. But don't say all single moms are recreational use only. That's not true. Everybody makes mistakes. You know, sometimes, you know.
Have a counter to what he just said? Camo, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What did you say? That do I have any?
Do you have a counter to what he just said?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Oh, so
yes.
What I don't understand is what's crazy as part to me, and listen to this, is that these men is saying that it's so immature today. Single mothers are for recreational purposes. These are women with children, and if you don't have, if your intentions, if you don't mean well by these women, you should just stay away from them altogether. Like, what kind of sadistic, weird crap is this, where you feel like you want to drag single mothers? Or not all single, I mean, not that it should make a difference of why they single. Things happen. Sometimes relationships just end. But there are women who lost their husbands. There are women who adopt, or there are women who have children on their as far as going different routes of alternatively. What gives you the right to try to use a single mother as an alternative while also fighting against issues with children that come from single mothers, but you're going to go and perpetrate the same degeneracy that caused some of the issues that a lot of you males have yourself. I don't like, that's why this whole red pill situation and it's a big joke. It's a bunch of crap. It's no different than Fresh and Fit having a bunch of what y'all call 304s surrounded around them on their show, while also having millions of followers who supposedly hate 304s. They know that the reason why they chose those kind of women rather than having regular women there was that they were going to draw you in, because they know that that's in reality what you truly like. We all know that. We've all talked about it. We know that for whatever reason, men have a desire that they love hoes. Like, that's just what it is.
Let's give Darnell a chance. You want to counter that?
Well, to be honest with you, I agree with Camo. I mean, she hit the nail right on the head. You know.
Okay, Torch. Do you want to continue with the chat questions, or you have some for the debaters?
I do have a really good chat question by Miss RV, which I do, which is, excuse me, which kind of mirrors something I was thinking about. So, let's say WAP, right? Is WAP as bad as other music from black men? That's to Darnell.
Yeah.
Okay, so name some name some tracks that you feel. Okay, so what you're saying is it's as bad as other music from black men. Okay, so what? So you're saying that WAP is as bad as gangster rap? Is that correct?
Yeah.
What is gangster rap comprised of as far as the subjects, the titles that they usually talk about?
Street life. Basically, my opinion, being what do you call it? Lack of a better term, disrespectful towards women. You know, treating women as sex objects.
Okay. What else?
Drug use, violence.
Okay. Is WAP violent?
No.
Okay. So is it still on the same level as gangster music?
I believe it is.
How?
I believe it is, but instead of the violence, it's my opinion. It's teaching young girls. Because let's face it, you know, young girls are listening to this. You know what I'm saying? Not just adult women, but young girls are listening to this, and it's going to teach them to, you know, basically, you know, when I get older, you know, when I become 18, sell my body parts, you know.
Is that what the song's about?
Yeah. Pay my tuition for this WAP. You know, rub your, you know, telling guys, rub your nose in my rear like a credit card.
Okay,
You
but
know, I'm trying to keep it clean for you.
got it. Okay, Camo, retort.
I don't believe any of that. Like I said, like I was young when Little Kim came out with hardcore, and she was pretty much like one of the first that we seen do it, you know, in that route. And there's plenty of women from my generation that didn't go out selling WAP and you know, become prostitutes and all these other things. It was just music. And I, you know, if anything, I would say if you can't control your children and you can't monitor what your children is listening to, and or your house is so out of order that that's the route that your children go to, that's on that's on the parents. Like, you know, that's just my opinion. Like I said, like I was raised in a home that was there was expectations of me. I was raised in an environment that you know, that was of a certain class and caliber. Education was put first, regardless of music and what was going on, regardless of what I listened to. And I've been on a lot of things. Like I even like heavy metal, grunge. When grunge was out, I was into that. I was into the Afro centric movement that was going on with Erykah Badu. So I've been a part of a lot of music scenes, and it didn't influence what I did in my life.
So Camo, you said that Little Kim and all Kaya, all of those women didn't result in young black girls being prostitutes and whatnot. So is it safe to say that gangster music resulted in young men being gangbangers and violent criminals?
No, it didn't. It was the actual gangs themselves that recruited these young men to become gang members. That's what it was.
Okay.
Would you like to respond to that question to both Torches and would you like, Darnell, would you like to counter what she just said and respond to the question? If not, we're going to hand it over to DJ Torch.
Yes, I'd like to respond. Basically, now here's where I do disagree with Miss Camo, is that, you know, in my opinion, like I said, music is very influential, you know. And when it comes to, like, when she did say about, or you asked her the question about gang members becoming gang members because of gangster rap, my opinion, I think it did. I mean, look at you remember the fad known as sagging, where you sag your pants and show your underwear off, you know? People in
If
music
we
videos.
if we didn't have gangs, then they wouldn't be able to become gang members. It would just be a song.
Do what now?
We're going to give you a chance to counter. Let them finish, please.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
No, finish your statement. We're going to give Camo a chance to counter, and then we're going to give it to DJ Torch.
Okay, I was just saying, like sagging, for example. Sagging, was a thing out of prison. What that used to mean was, hey, I'm available, right? In some kind of way, it got into hip hop music. Next thing you know, you see people on the street sagging their pants, showing their drawers off. And spend, as I said earlier, spending money buying things you can't afford. Fake jewelry. Cars you can't afford. Putting expensive accessories on those cars that you can't afford, but you don't have no property. Again, that's a problem. And now, like I said, what you see when it comes to the women, now, like I said, now that you got female rappers, like, I mean, if I may ask you two ladies, would you allow if you do have daughters, would you allow them to listen to the WAP song?
You have to ask Camo that. I'm the moderator.
Okay, Camo, would you allow your daughter to listen to the WAP song?
I would not be anywhere personally influencing any children to listen to WAP. That's not ever what I stood for. What I said, I'm seeing this a lot. I see Jen J in a comment section, and she's been saying the same thing as if I'm saying that there's no influence, but it's a lot that goes into that. Than just the music. A lot of it is based off of the way that we are raised. Even if you're raised in a home, that's your first contact with adult life and influence. So regardless of what's around you, it won't change anything if you're raised with certain morals. So a young girl accidentally running into hearing a WAP song is not just going to instantly, change her into wanting to. I don't know what WAP is supposed to. What you guys are saying, I guess it make you a prostitute or whatever, or want to sell your private parts or whatever. No, that makes absolutely no sense to me, and I stand on it. I'm not going to sit here and blame music as this big influence and the reason why and all this stuff. No, a lot of it has to do with the household itself. Because if your household is ran correctly, none of that will. The chances of those things influencing your children will not be as great. I raised a young adult myself that in a time of drill, and he's off at school right now, doing what he needs to do for himself and trying to get into a career in basketball. And so is his friends, and so are the other people that was raised in his environment. So I really don't understand. I'm really trying to. I'm not going to ever be with this thing that always to keep blaming the music, because Black people tend to do that a lot rather than just blaming themselves for the outcome of the community.
Okay. DJ Torch, do you have anything else for them?
I actually do. One is a statement. I think where Camo is going with this is like the music in itself is not the problem. I think we're mixing the culture in with the music. Like there's polka music, right? You can listen to polka music and might even enjoy it, though I probably wouldn't. However, there's a culture behind it. There's dances behind it and stuff. So you might be just into the music itself, but not the culture of polka. So when we break it down into hip hop culture, let's put it this way. Caucasian people listen to hip hop in a different way that a lot of African Americans do. And really it depends on where that African American person grew up. Some live the music and some just listen to the music. So those who live the music, what I mean is this, is that there is a way that you can be inspired by music to do things, but where there's the disconnection is that it would have to be in your soul already. And that's where I agree with Camo, because if it's in your soul to be a gangbanger or whatever already, since generations, since the 50s, the 30s, or whatever, you are going to be more susceptible to be absorbed by not only the music, but by the culture. Unfortunately, hip hop culture, though it started out to be a good thing, has turned into to be a very detrimental thing. And it's the proof is in the pudding. You hear it in the lyrics. There's no way to get around that. There's no way to get around that. But where I 100% believe with Camo is she's saying it wasn't the music that convinced these people to be degenerate. There was something in them, some pathology that made them conform to follow the degeneracy leader, in a matter of speaking. Okay, so
Okay,
I'm going back.
Torch, what part of Darnell's responses do you agree and not agree with?
Wait. Okay. I agree with the point that his point about gangster rap that RV brought up, Miss RV brought up, and that it's doing damage. But I want to throw in the name culture with it. Culture, not gangster rap by itself. Okay, because as Darnell said, some of the songs were supposed to be funny and a joke. The problem is too many people took it to heart. And they turned it into a culture. And unfortunately, though hip hop culture has positive elements in it, the majority of it is negative now. And the majority of it, the majority of the men who listen to it listen to the negative aspects of it. And that's the issue. This is a question. This is perfect timing, Camo. This is a question I have. What is a bigger threat to the Black community? Black men versus Black men violence, or Black women? Let's start off with Camo this time, since Camo had to drop out for a second.
Just what are you asking?
Okay. What is the bigger threat to the Black community? Black men versus Black men violence, or Black women in general?
Black men with their violence and degeneracy.
Okay. Darnell, your reply.
I agree with Camo.
Okay, that brings me to my second question. Do you feel Black men should focus more on Black men versus Black men violence, or Black women?
Black men versus. I'm sorry. Did you want Camo to go first or me?
You can go first, and I'll switch back over to Camo.
Black men versus Black men violence. That's, to me, that's the bigger issue.
Okay, Camo, your reply.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Okay. Do you feel Black men should focus more on Black men versus Black men violence, or Black women in general?
I think that Black men need to start focusing more on themselves, and they should put the same energy that they put into focusing on Black women into their own self. This whole past 10 years of the manosphere, they could have been bringing awareness to some of the issues that affect them in the community, and the reason and the reasoning for them not being able to be where they should be in life, but instead they chose to use their platform to blast Black women, and they're still in the same place that they were 10 years ago.
Okay. Okay. So is there a correlation between, okay, this is going to Darnell. Is there a correlation between hip hop culture and red pill culture?
Yeah, somewhat. Yes, there's somewhat of a correlation, yes.
Can you describe those similarities?
A lot of times in red pill, things are, a lot of times in red pill, like I said, they do like to quote, black artists such as, we mention his name all the time, but Future, for example. So, like I said, there's definitely a problem. There's definitely a problem there. I mean, I really wish that, we could just stick with the basics. Like I said, I'm a centrist, so I try to understand both sides. But I wish we could stick with the basics, if you know what I mean.
Understood. Camo, same question. Is there a correlation
Well,
between?
Torch, he did not answer. He agreed with it is correlation. You asked him for similarities. We need to know those similarities.
Very good catch. Very good catch.
Well, if, for example, if Future has a song, "If you ever catch me cheating, I will never tell her sorry." And in the red pill, like I said, it states never apologize to your woman. And things of that nature. Like, my opinion, if you're going to be honest with your woman and say, look, I like multiple women, you can take it or leave it, that's one thing. That's, at that point, it becomes on her on what she wants to do. But, if you're going to lie, like some of these red pill content creators that say lie to women and stuff like that, that's not a good thing. Does that answer your question, Camo?
Okay, Camo, can you answer the same question? Do you want me to read it over?
Can you read it again?
Okay. Is there a correlation between hip hop culture and red pill culture?
Yes, I think that it is, and I think it's the misogyny. Of course, the misogynistic variables of it. But I believe that it's So I'm gonna get this straight. I don't believe that like I said, I don't believe that hip hop has any influence on not a major influence on the community, and I don't believe the red pill does either, especially when it comes to, and specifically black men. I don't see it as that. I just think that it's a place that men go to get lazy and blame all and victim blame, and it actually seems to be declining them more than anything, whereas that they're just in a state of standstill where there's nothing happening at all. They're not improving, they're not anything, they're just deflating. Every man that I know that I personally that listens to this red pill stuff is it's amazing the transition that they go through of not grooming themselves and just becoming this angry, bitter man that there's nothing happening for them in life at all. So I believe that both hip hop and red pill is pretty much, it's almost like the difference between hip hop is that hip hop is more people, not hip hop in per se, because not all of hip hop is bad. But when we talk about a lot of the degenerate part of music, the difference is that these are people who are actually talking about the life that they live, or someone else, or I guess for those hip hop artists that pretty much are storytellers telling someone else's story. This is a lifestyle that they're speaking about. When it comes to red pill, it seems to me that it's just like a fairy tale. It's really just nothing that's really actually happening at all. This is what men dream about in their head, and they talked about in the barbershop and in the school bathroom, and then somehow it came to the internet. That's the difference. But the similarity is the misogyny in them both. If you can understand what I'm saying. Did I explain that correctly?
Mm-hmm.
Understandably? Okay.
This is gonna sound like a weird question, but okay, Darnell, this is back to you.
Okay.
When young men watch those hip hop videos and watch the misogyny and watching the men in there controlling the women and you know all the you know sexual innuendos, do they does a young man do the young men see that as why they would be attracted to the hip hop culture and then therefore to the red pill culture, since basically there seems to be this as you said before, this veil of controlling women and having multiple women. Does that make sense to you?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of a long question, but
Okay.
I think
Torch, try to
understand.
reframe the question and keep it in context.
Okay. Hip hop they have in the videos, at least in the video and in hip hop culture, actually, really quite honestly, in real life hip hop culture, basically it seems like it's men controlling women,
Yep.
and then men having sexual partners, right?
Mhm.
Would you
Yep.
say that's some of the core basis of red pill?
Yes,
Control of women and sexual partners.
yes, sir. I would.
Okay, Camo, do you what are your thoughts on that? She might have dropped off. I mean, not dropped off, but she might be in the
Can you
middle of
repeat the
something.
Can you repeat the question? Like I'm
Okay.
multitasking. I'm
Oh
doing
no,
two
no,
things
no.
at
Hey,
once.
I just said you probably shopping again.
No, I'm not sure. I'm actually trying to find some food because I'm hungry, but I'm trying to be stable because I don't want to interrupt the conversation. But I haven't eaten today at all, and I'm looking for food actually.
I hear that. So you're looking at? Are you driving to find food, or are you looking in
You,
your
yeah,
in your kitchen?
I'm actually stopped because I wanted to be able
Oh,
to
okay.
pay attention and without the phone getting disrupted. But go ahead. What's
Okay,
your
this
question?
was a bonus. This was a bonus question anyway. You fulfilled your obligations, but I was asking us like this. You know how hip hop is built on misogyny,
Uh-huh.
sex and control, right? Wouldn't you
Uh-huh.
say those are the three elements? Would you say or not say those are the three elements in the manosphere?
I agree. I
I have
agree.
I have an additional question for Darnell when she's done.
I
I'm done.
actually was just I was thinking about the question that I answered before about the similarities with red pill and hip hop. And I was thinking hip hop is so many things, so it's very hard to correlate the two. And I like red pill is not black, hip hop is. So I don't there is, although there's some similarities, which is of course the misogynistic aspect of it. I was thinking about how a lot of these artists later on come out and talk about the fact that they had none of those things. It was almost like the fake it till you make it
Hey,
situation.
Kim,
And
hey, Kimo, I apologize, man. I'm just going to the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. But keep talking.
okay,
I can hear you. I can hear you.
okay, and I believe that that's another part of I guess you could say with hip hop and some of the issues that it have, that the minister also have, is that a lot of these things that you talk about as far as the sex and the money and the women and all these other things, and hip hop has the same, is that a lot of it was these a lot of that part of it was not true for a while. Yeah, later on in time they were able to get some of those things. But one of the most interesting things was in both of those things, red pill and hip hop, one of the ways that these men are lured into that, well, before black people actually took control over their own producing and companies, as far as when it comes to hip hop, when they were working for the Jays and whoever else, these music execs or whatever, was that they were lured in by the exact same thing that the red pill promises, is as if you become red pill, then you'll become this man that can achieve all of these things. or whatever the case may be. And it's always a lot of times, a lot of the times at that time, it turned into something bad. They lost money. They lost, of course, a lot of them are no longer here, as we know. And you see that also in the red pill. So there are a lot of similarities when it comes to those three aspects that you spoke about just now. And both, I was really trying to think about when you were asking a question to Donnell, and how it correlates together. And there is a lot of similarities, although there is a lot of differences as well, because like I said, like hip hop was originated, by Black people. And there are issues that is in hip hop and in the Black community that's why I don't understand where Black men, what do they get out of being in the red pill? Because there's a lot of issues that other groups of men don't face that they do. And I feel like being in the red pill, they get lost. You would think that they would get lost in issues that have nothing to do with them, because a lot of the issues that Black men face, these men don't even have. I mean, they're over there crying and all these other things about they can't do this and they can't do that. And Black men have a whole different set of issues that has not even been addressed yet. So how do they find themselves in this place of white men issues? But that's another conversation or another question.
So for both you, Camo, and Darnell, I'm going to piggyback off something DJ said. With the three factors being misogyny, control, and sex, why are those three things the anchors of the Black manosphere?
You want me to go first or this Camo?
Mr. Red Pill Guy?
Okay. Well, I mean, to be honest with you, it sells a dream. That's just the honest to God truth. It sells a dream. Most young men, they're going to want, young women around, half-naked young women running around, be able to have their way, with, I don't want to.
I understand that's the desire. I'm asking, why are these three factors the anchor? Why choose these three?
No, it's desire. Pure and simple, it's desire.
What about you, Camo? Why are these men choosing these three as the anchor?
I think that, for me, that's a hard question because I'm a woman. I'm not a man. I only can, assume. But I believe that, they know that those are the motivations of men. I hear a lot of these men speak, some of them that I've talked to, face to face, that, subscribe to this red pill, talk about how men no longer have any motivation to be men, which is the strangest thing, because I would think that it's natural. You just don't just one day say you don't want to be a man. But I believe what they're trying to say is the responsibility of men, meaning to work and, be proactive in society, be productive in society, which, we all supposed to do. So these men is basically saying that without those three things, without the access to those three things, they have now lost interest in just being productive members of society, which is crazy to me.
Okay, what about you, Torch? What do you think your opinion is? Why are these three factors the anchors in the Black manosphere?
Seemingly to them, I believe they think it's the easiest things to attain. And I think it's because of exactly what Camo said. But basically, we've given up. A lot of us Black men have given up. We want the cart before the horse. So instead of working hard and work not only in making money, but in our own souls, working hard on being good men, working hard on having a good work ethic. A lot, especially in the Black manosphere, it seems like we're focused on just receiving what we're supposed to have been earning without earning it.
basically men in their boxer shorts eating Cheetos and smoking weed.
Okay, Torch, do you have any closing commentary on today's debate?
No, I think you did an amazing job. Number one, as a moderator, it's been
Thank you.
excellent. The two
Well, thank you guys.
contestants
Say that
did
again,
great.
because you know I'm driving. I'm driving. Say that again.
I'm gonna pass it over to you. You did a great job. I'm just gonna go ahead and cue up the music.
Well, I thank you guys for coming for the first and not the last debate. We're gonna have these two up again. We're also gonna have. I noticed a lot of ladies in the chat, and we have some new members, some males. We're gonna have some topics for you guys. We're gonna pick two people out of the chat to come up for another debate, if you guys are game. Because I understand that you guys have your opinion matters, and we need you up here if you have something to say, and it's going to give a great understanding to a common goal, which we all want in BWE. That being said, anything you want to say, Darnell, on behalf of yourself?
Yes, ma'am. I just want to say, first of all, great debate. Ms. Camo, great job. Cyber Dream, great job moderating. DJ Torch, of course, as always. Thank you for having me as always. But you know, this is great, and this is the beginning of how we fix things.